Eid Mubarak, dear students. I am Zoglul Pasha, your teacher from the Department of Management. Here today I am discussing about the prevailing situation of banking sector, all including financial institutions, leasing companies, insurance as a whole. Not only Bangladesh, worldwide pandemic situation is prevailing. In this situation, hazardous position arised basically for the regular transactions and the recovery affairs. Bangladesh, our banking transaction mainly consolidated with the customers dealings, general customer and the business persons. Among the business persons, a huge amount of money which is concerned to international trade. In all respect, we are facing tough enough situation. Daily transaction has been declining due to coronavirus. People at a minimum level gathering in the banks and the financial institutions. General clients are going to the commercial banks, but leasing company, insurance companies and other financial institutions are basically closed down. So their recovery status is at a minimum level. Huge loan defaulter actually is a culture of Bangladesh and the Southeast Asian countries. India, Pakistan also suffering in this point. Industrialists or business peoples, in the name of business or industry, they are taking huge amount of loan, mainly with the political backup or syndicate background. But most of them are not professional and their intention is not doing good business. So, recovery from those clients is quite tough enough. And in this pandemic situation, they are raising thousands of arguments not for paying back installments. And some of them are original professional businessmen or industrialists. They have no strong political backup or syndicate backup. They are taking a minimum number, poor number amount of money as a loan. But what's going on there? They have to pay high rate of interest. That interest rate is compound rate of interest. Service charges, and for the sanction and approval of the loan amount, they need to pay a underhand dealings. As a result, they are suffering for a huge amount of installment so that they can run smoothly their business and they are becoming defaulter. This is another side. Say for an educated professional businessman, he is taking loan taka 1 crore, but due to over rate of interest, malpractices prevailing in the banking sector, he can't run smoothly his business. At the same time, he is facing pressure from the bank management, facing legal problems. End result is his business is collapsed. I found so many entrepreneurs in Bangladesh, they committed suicide. Okay, anyway, this is a very notable and significant problem. Another side is there from the government side. To maintain the state mechanism to mitigating the different developmental expenditure costs, government has to take huge amount of money as loan. And that loan amount is blocked so that banks are facing financial crisis. They can sanction or grant record amount of money to the genuine clients. This is a threatening situation for the entrepreneurship development in Bangladesh. Another very critical problem. Basically, it prevails in the private banks, also governmental banks. Huge number of executives from top level to the mid level and lower level management, at the same time lower level employees. Banks have to mitigate their salary allowances, also rent of the office and different other operating expenditures. This is a really critical problem. This is a huge amount of money. At the same time, the owner directors of the banks, in the name of meeting, for a mere agenda, they are organizing meeting and they are getting a huge amount of money as allowances, meeting allowance. So this is also a real and critical problem. And both for these purposes, financial status of the bank is declining. Another problem, maybe due to political reason. Whenever a political government is coming to the power, then some guys are there to establish a bank, leasing company, insurance company, and some other different financial organizations with or without professionalism. If there is a merely lacking of professionalism, then that organization might collapse. And it's happening in Bangladesh. And these banks and financial institutions, I can mention it very clearly. I can mention the names of those banks and entrepreneurs. But in the holy month of Ramadan or Eid festival, I am not mentioning. You can get it in the newspaper. So you can easily understand some directors, they are not taking loans in their own name, but his relatives or his near and dear ones are taking 100 and 1,000 crores taka from a certain bank. This is horrible. Both professionalism is declined from the both side, from the bank side, at the same time from the entrepreneur side. But good entrepreneurs are not getting loan. Another thing is, now banks are providing some sort of service-oriented loans. Product line. They are increasing product lines for purchasing apartments, vehicles, such other things. Here, defaulters rate is less than industrialist. Trade policies worldwide, those several agreements are there, but there is a country-to-country variation. Trade policy of Bangladesh and trade policy of India is not same. We can import any goods from India very easily, but if we want to export goods to India, matter is quite tough. Indian government follows provincial and then the central government. USA government, European governments, also they have their own philosophy, export-import philosophy. This is a critical problem. Another problem is there, currency rate fluctuation. If currency rate is devaluated, any neighboring country, those who are exporting the same line product, then the exporters of our country may suffer a lot, because importers can purchase product from our neighboring country at a lower price. So buyers will not be interested to get our product. This is a huge pressure at present upon the garment sector, as Vietnam is much in advance. Some African countries are also starting their garment sector, developing, and they are coming in competition to Bangladesh. So banks and financial institutions have to invest in a new way. Banks and financial institutions have to think the right investors, quality investors, and professional investors without biasness. If banks are politically biased, then loan sanctioning or approval, the total philosophy will be dismantled. But it is tough from our side still now to overcome the problem. Professionalism and then professionalism must be stressed. If it's not stressed, then we can't overcome the upcoming problems. Employees, executives, basically the executives, mid-level to senior level or top level managerial peoples or personnels must be highly qualified in the concerned line, both in academic background and experience. Side by side, fastest online technology, quality technology, they should maintain and hold. Nowadays, in the banking sector, hacking is a burning question. Management must keep this thing in their mind. Then, due to pandemic situation, corona, and not only this situation, sometimes for the political problems, sometimes for regional war, even when Twin Tower destroyed, then about 1,000 garments factory collapsed here in Bangladesh. We need to keep these uncertainties in our mind. How to overcome or how to mitigate the challenges. Challenges in the abnormal situations. This individual banking system can't solve this problem. Here, combining political decision of the government, role of Ministry of Finance and Commerce, central bank, government-owned banks, private banks, and financial institutions as a whole have to come to a concrete and developmental program to mitigating the challenges. Now Bangladesh facing a tough situation. Our export-oriented industry, basically garments, knit garments, and different other food, chemical, furniture, textile, all including. As I came to know, so many running LCs declined. This is horrible. Very easily importer can say, yes, sorry. LC which is provided to you that has been cancelled due to pandemic situation. Very easily they can say. But from the entrepreneur's point of view of Bangladesh, it's tough enough to stand. The end result is disaster. One, pandemic situation, then is business situation. When LC is declined, then already by back-to-back LC, money transferred to the raw material suppliers. Already raw materials in the floor. Manufacturers can't export and he has to bear the total LC amount. So situation is horrible. God knows what is the upcoming situation in Bangladesh. Whenever any disaster occurs within the country or world economy, the total economic system gets down. Just you see, almost more than 1 crore people, directly or indirectly, now attached to garment sector and the relevant other in this connection, say for transport, say for shipping companies, say for insurance companies, and other relevant service sectors. All this collapse. Here the question is political decision. this pandemic situation as declining overall banks and the financial institutions of the country, like four-wheel drive, government has to take initiative to contact foreign countries, combining different manufacturers associations, banking organizations associations, to the counterpart or the buyers or even foreign governments. We need to explain our situation. We may ask them to extend LC time and to request them not to charge discount. This is now top urgent. Our embassies and high commissions may actively contact and communicate in this connection. Side by side, as a political decision of the government, very nice, to bring rate of interest in a single digit. It is now topmost urgent. Actually, entrepreneurs need it and they are suffering a lot. This is quite unethical. Nowhere in the world double-digit rate of interest is prevailing. Not only double-digit rate of interest, but also there is service charge. There is underhand malpractice. Nowhere in the world. Time duration is also burning question. So, if bank wants to know all these things, then bank should be much more professional, dignified. Bank should keep, if the business persons, industrialists are not surviving, then no use of more than 70 number banks almost, and all including 300 financial, leasing and insurance companies are there in Bangladesh. All will collapse. This tragic situation, policymakers of banks and financial institutions have to take or adopt right policy for merging or declining huge number of branches. They have to encourage their clients with a greater exposure that whatever the situation, we are sound enough. We can overcome any kind of financial problems. And ready to give you the best service. Moreover, banks have to develop a worldwide business connectivity. And government have to think this, how banks can do business with the other banks of the world or the other business institutions of the world to make the bank maximum level profit oriented. Banks can invest different underdeveloped countries, African and South American countries, bringing the entrepreneurs, local entrepreneurs, combining entrepreneurs of those countries. Bank can instigate. Anyway, in the highest level nowadays, banks and financial institutions very sensitively has to operate modern telecommunication tools, techniques and methodologies to find out any kind of lawful defalcation or rest other problems. Banks need to keep it in mind. Already pandemic situation, we are facing this problem. God knows what may happen after this situation, post-coronavirus situation. They should maintain their sufficient reserve. They should have to stress upon recovery. And to mitigate this challenge as far possible, bank has to decline or minimize rate of investment at a minimum level, following the neighboring countries. Bank can't do here any amateur role. Banks have been facing another problem. Currency devaluation is becoming tough. Anyway, that's a major policy of the government and of Bangladesh. Being a son of a farmer, from my side, my suggestion to the banks and financial institutions to provide professionally loan facilities for agro product marketing. This is a very nice phase of employment generation in Bangladesh. Banks can contribute in this line the best, and I think in this sector more than 40 lakhs people will be employed. So anyway, in this very unhealthy pandemic situation, I request all my students to keep yourself safe, don't go outside. We are very much actually interested to deliver our lecture in the classroom, in the front of our students, but sorry. I wish you good luck. I wish a very strong, quality, professional banking system in Bangladesh. And again, Eid Mubarak to you. Thank you very much. Thank you.